I'm Tess McDougall, Statewide Agriculture Recovery Manager for Agriculture Victoria, and I'm here today at Ben and Jodie Green's to discuss fire preparedness.
Ben Green and here with my wife Jodie. We farm in the upper Wimmera catchment between the Pyrenees Ranges and the Mount Cole State Forest, just 2 kilometres out of Elmhurst. We farm over 3 blocks on the Wimmera River. The main home block here is Millbanks. Our second block, which is surrounded by state forest, is Bundalia, and that's mainly a cattle block, and our final block's a small block over near the Landsborough Township, north of here. The total farm area consists of 1,360 hectares, with Millbanks being the biggest block. Our enterprises are a self-replacing merino flock, producing prime lambs, and a cattle trading outfit.
Our own family, I guess, so we have 4 children, ranging in age from 22 down to 16, and they are either away at university working on another property for experience, or still in high school, but they are all agriculturally minded and love being on the farm and at home and helping and working, which is awesome. On
top of that, we have a full-time labour unit and a lot of casual staff as well around shearing and busy times. So bad fire days are something that we suffer here quite a bit, obviously like other farms around. We've taken them pretty seriously in the past, and part of our enterprise here has been made up a lot of cattle, and we have a lot of electric fences on the properties. We had what you'd call probably a bare minimum plan. We'd always
next to nothing plan.
We'd always turn off electric fences on a bad day. We'd prep the place during the spring, but in terms of actually having an on-ground fire plan, I'd say we were deficient in that area. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would. I mean, we had a water tanker, so we knew we had a hose, but pretty much that was where we were up to.
I knew personally that things at home could be at risk.
Which I guess I then sort of knew a couple of things to do. I knew to get our core breeding stock into a safe area, and I knew that I just basically needed to keep watch, which is what I did do. I guess your heart rate goes up as the smoke gets closer, and you're looking and going, what is going on? Ben's obviously not home. Although I was ringing going, can you help me? Please, can you tell me what do I need to do next? That information was really hard to get back. The what if factor played a big part in my overall not having a plan that I needed to have. So,
from my point of view, being on the tanker and the other crew members were in the same position, we were harnessing phone calls from our wives and other concerned people of what to do. Now, one of the most difficult things to do when you're at distance and not on the job is to make decisions about something somewhere else, and no matter how good you are. And I think that was a major turning point for us to understand that we probably needed a bit more concrete plan, so it didn't require the input from me if I happened to not be here. the day was declared to be catastrophic in some areas. So we thought, righto, bingo, we've been given 2 days to prepare for this.
We actually need a plan.
We better stay home and put together a plan.
We managed to source another water tank and fire pump. So that was fantastic. That meant we had 2 units. We organised for a generator onto a bore which is located near one of the houses, so that enabled us to have a constant supply of water, which could have been a problem because of power, if the power had have gone out.
We cleaned up any existing messes that we had that had accumulated since the spring cleanups, and we did that at lightning speed. Managed to hook a big set of offsets to the tractor and have them ready in terms of putting fire breaks around all the assets. That was the asset side of it.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to the livestock.
Then we moved to livestock. So
that automatically provoked us to pull out our farm management maps.
Out come the map and said, righto, what goes where?
As soon as I pulled it out, it became evident, and I showed Jode that these are our lucerne and chicory growing paddocks. We've got a lot of green areas for finishing stock, and you could automatically see where we could shuffle stock to. We've got our sheep yards and shearing shed here, which took care of our stud stock and our ram team.
Yeah.
And then from there we moved out to these safe areas that took big mobs of stock, and we didn't hesitate on that day and the day before. We put the stock in those safe areas. That's certainly something that we've learned out of it. A fire from any direction could turn into your threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I didn't realise that you can't get fuel delivered in a bushfire. It's just something I'd never really thought of, and I think that knowing now that all of your pumps, all of your generators, all of those things run on motorbikes. They need to be fueled up, and you need to make sure that you've got enough fuel on hand that you can fill up. Because if your power goes out, or if you use up the fuel in the pump, then realistically it's worse than having no water because you can't get any more fuel.
Something else that occurred to us in our fire prep was, if in the horrible event that we ended up burnt out, like what would happen then? One of our main risks here is drought, and we see that as paramount, that we have a really solid drought plan. Both Jode and I learnt that early in our early days of farming, so we chose to have a stringent policy around storing grain and some hay, and keeping that turning over, and cash on top of that. Now, where we think that has got positive synergies with bushfire is that if we do get burnt out, we can slap up some containment areas, put the stock in, and hopefully continue our business on in maintaining those stock until we get some of the rest of the farm back in order. We insure too. Now, everyone has different views on that. We see it as a fact of doing business. If we can't afford the insurance, we need to re-examine the business. People don't talk about much on the fires, but you can sit here today and it's clear, and talk about a bushfire and you think, like a stubble burn, but it's absolutely nothing like that. The impact of smoke darkening the place and embers falling, when you're in amongst it, fighting it, or it's approaching you, it really robs you your capacity to think properly, and see what's going on. So I think that's important to mention as well. Yeah.